Welcome to Zach and Steve Have a Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Zach.
And we are back after it's not after. It's 2 weeks now, pretty much, until we get back into a better rhythm. Zach, how you been?
I've been great.
What's new?
What's new with me? Nothing. We got a new dustbuster.
Oh my goodness. Please tell us all the details. What kind of dustbuster is this?
Well, that's part of the story here.
Okay.
We our other one became possessed.
What?
So it would, if you to charge it had a charging like port kind of thing. You would sit it on it and it would charge it. Well, it started doing this thing where you would sit it on the charging port, and as soon as you did, it would turn on.
Ooh, spooky.
Yes. So we would put the dustbuster on there, and it would start running.
This should have been our Halloween story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Fall festival story.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So how can you charge something if immediately when you put it on your charger, it just starts running?
Yeah.
So that was an issue. So it would run for a little bit, and it just wasn't working very well. So we got a new one.
Okay.
So Laura did all of the research to try to figure out what's the best option for
us.
So she
got drum roll.
So she got this. I took a picture of the box.
Is it a shark?
It's not a shark. Our vacuum's a shark. The shark
I love
works
shark,
well.
man. Remember, shark was just like an infomercial,
and then it became like the best option.
Now it's like it literally is the best option.
Yeah. So the brand is called Vac Life.
That's not real.
VAC.
Did it come in like one of those like real like generic looking boxes? That's not too bad.
No. So she did a ton of research on this on Amazon. All right.
And it was the top rated on Amazon?
It was top. It was I don't know if it was top rated, but it was what she decided on.
That was the one.
Reading all the reviews and seeing what was best. Okay. But we get it in this. When you order from Amazon, sometimes you take a little bit of a gamble. Is this coming from our country? Is this coming from a different country?
Yeah, like Amazon is not even a gamble anymore. It's like it's guaranteed that it's not something that is like the amount of shell companies that are on Amazon is ridiculous because it's like all these different names and it's like one manufacturer out of China.
So we get it. This is the tagline underneath.
I can't wait. It says, more better feeling.
Makes the dust nowhere to hide.
Makes the dust nowhere to hide.
Yes, that's what it says. And we're
like it knows where to hide.
Nowhere.
There's nowhere to hide, or it knows where to hide. Makes the dust. NOWHERE to hide.
Yes.
Yep. That's a legit company, man. Yeah. What is it called? Vac Life?
Vac Life.
For those people that vacuums are their life.
Yes.
Vac Life.
Makes the dust nowhere to hide. So that's what we say now. Every time we get this thing out, we turn it up and
makes the dust nowhere to hide.
Yes. That's your best, I don't know, Russian accent maybe?
No, that was just serious voice. That wasn't an accent.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it wasn't an accent. But does it work is the question.
We've had it one day. It works so far.
And
the dust has nowhere to hide.
You know what, man? I've Amazon though. Okay, so all things considered, like I'm not the biggest fan of Amazon because like they have in the past few years they've gotten really far away from having legitimate companies on there selling stuff. There's no kinds of like filtering options or anything to get away from things that are clearly not good products. Everything looks like a good product, and then you get it, and it's like.
Makes the dust nowhere to hide.
Got me again. Yeah, I mean, like seriously, it's always like it's a gamble constantly. If you're going to get something, like, unless you know a company for sure.
Yeah.
When it's a company you've not really ever heard of, it's guaranteed that it's the shell company, and it's just like it's that one manufacturer that produces. Like just basically they make stickers with different names on them and the same product for everything. But I will say this. I ordered vitamins on Amazon.
That's also a bit of a gamble.
It was and it wasn't. Like, I mean, I did do my research.
Get your Flintstone vitamins?
I did. My Flintstone gummy vitamins. I didn't get the chalk ones.
I like the chalky ones.
No. So I got a brand. I originally ordered it from a brand called Ollie.
Like the store?
OLLY.
Okay.
It's like a vitamin brand.
Okay, yeah, I know that brand.
Yeah. Don't buy Ollie brand.
Why?
They are disgusting.
They don't taste good.
No, it's not even that they taste bad. They smell
Oh yeah,
really,
that
really bad.
vitamin smell.
Yeah, but it's like
earth.
strong. Like I open it up and like Sarah's like our whole room smells. And I didn't even want these vitamins in the first place. I ordered them and then I immediately tried to cancel them. So they weren't going to come in for like 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, I want vitamins now, not in 2 weeks. So I tried to cancel it 3 times. They denied the cancel, denied the cancel, denied the cancel.
Like, these things are coming.
Yeah, they're coming no matter how you feel about them. I got them and I'm like, okay, obviously I couldn't cancel it. I'm not going to try to return it. I'll just try to use it because I'd already ordered other vitamins that I really liked. Voost, Voost.
It's better.
It's Procter and Gamble. I knew it was legit. Those are great. Those are great. These ones are not good.
Yeah.
And so Sarah said to me today, she's like, these things, please don't use the Ollie ones. They smell so bad. Like our whole bathroom smells.
So what are you gonna do with them?
Well, I contacted Amazon through their like customer service like app, like just like texting. They refunded me. They said just throw them away.
Yeah, nice.
I was like, okay.
That was good for them.
They got an extra star. They got a little bit of a star. Zach, I got a couple stories for you.
You got some stories.
Oh, gosh, dude. It's been a weird week. You ready for this? You know I have a yellow jacket problem.
Oh, here we
Right.
go.
I do. I have a constant yellow jacket problem. But I watched a video on YouTube.
Okay.
And I saw that honeybees kill yellow jackets.
No.
Did you know that?
I did not.
If a yellow jacket attempts to come to a beehive, bees will actually surround it and create like a ball around the yellow jacket and suffocate it.
Ah.
Because what they do is they surround it and create like a tight, like almost net of bees around the yellow jacket, and they start flapping their wings real fast, and it causes the yellow jacket to suffocate and die.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's kind of cool.
So I was like,
Also frightening.
it is frightening. So I was like, okay, so bees are the answer.
Wait.
Just listen, all right? So we have a friend that's a beekeeper,
Yeah.
all right? I went to her. I was like, I need bees. I need 12 bees just to get started.
Just a dozen.
Just a dozen bees.
It's like
Queen and a dozen bees, and that's all you need to get started.
It's like an egg carton.
Okay, to be an apiarist, that's what you need. So she's counting them up. And I said, I needed 12. She counts 13.
Uh-oh. Baker's dozen.
And I'm like, I asked for 12. And she said, the 13th one's a freebie.
That she did. This is you just played this whole thing out for a joke.
Yeah, I did.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, that's not my real story. Here's my real story.
Wait a minute. Was none of that true?
None of that was true. I mean, the thing about the bees do suffocate yellow jackets. That is true. Do you feel hurt?
defiled?
All right, but here's the real story, because I did tell you my car is in the shop right now.
Yeah.
So my car is in the shop, not just because of the timing belt, Zach. I also made a mistake this week driving.
Uh-oh.
All right, church parking lot.
Yeah.
You know we have those lamp posts.
Yeah.
All right, I backed into a lamp post.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I hurt my neck. All right. So I went to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, the good news is it's only light damage to your neck."
I don't know what to say about this. I thought you had legit stories. Your jokes are awful.
Yeah, they are. Just dad jokes.
That's terrible, buddy.
He said only light injuries.
Yeah. Because you hit the light post.
Yeah, because I hit the lamp post.
The lamp post.
Only
get it.
sustained light injuries.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
No, that was awful.
You're welcome. I'm really into dad jokes right now.
I can tell.
I'm really enjoying it. Like this is my son's love language. Lucas's love language is dad jokes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know whether to believe you now or not.
He does. No, there's no
Is
more
there
dad.
another,
I have no more dad jokes.
Okay.
That's it. I used them all. You're waiting for me to drop another one.
Yes,
I don't
I
have
am.
any other ones. That was it. That was my 2.
Yeah.
The B one was good.
The freebie. Yeah.
The light injuries. That's so stupid.
Do you have any real stories? Anything fun happened or exciting?
No.
You said, I've got stories for you.
Those were my
It's been
stories.
2 weeks.
Those are my stories.
They were fake stories.
They were fake.
They were made up.
Unbelievable.
Yes, you are unbelievable. But I do have a game if we're going
All
to
right,
do
yeah,
that.
let's do a game because I just wasted everybody's time with
Yeah, I
dad
was
joke
excited.
stories.
We all love Steve stories.
You know,
Fake Steve stories are way worse than real Steve
you know
stories.
what, man? I've just kept a very low profile recently, and it has not allowed too many things to happen.
Yeah,
So no, I got nothing.
that's sad.
It is.
Okay.
I'm sad too.
So, have you ever heard, well, like jingles to songs?
Oh, I do know
Like
jingles.
to companies.
Uh-huh.
I found a game. This
Ooh.
game is called the Sonic Boom. I guess they're called Sonic something. I don't know.
Huh?
The name for the little jingles for
I thought
songs.
the name of the jingles were jingles.
That's what I thought too.
Company jingles.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a Sonic something because that's like how it sonically hits your ears.
Yeah, so like it's stuck in there. And,
Yeah.
and won't
like,
leave.
so Pete was where were we with Pete? And Pete was like, he just started randomly singing "Liberty, Liberty, Liberty, Liberty," and we're like, "What?" Like, he must work for Liberty Mutual. He's
Yeah.
like, he
Well-
gets every time he sings the song, it's a check in the pocket.
Exactly.
So anyway, go ahead.
That's all right. So here's the deal. I'll give you a company name,
Ooh.
and I want to see if you can think of their jingle and sing it out.
I know I can. So lights down, music on.
Yeah, I guess that'd be good. But I maybe
Lights down.
give the people a few seconds to think of it as well, because if you just blurt it out there,
Okay.
then they're not going to have a chance to play along with us, because it's more fun when you play along, right?
Yep.
Is that the music?
Yeah, that's the music.
We should like cut you playing a minute of that song, then we'll just play it on loop underneath. Okay. All right.
Okay,
The
go
jingle for this company.
Yes.
Here we go. First one. Don't say it too quickly.
I won't.
McDonald's. McDonald's. All right. That's enough time.
You should just do the countdown, and then I'll do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Is that it?
I would say so. I'm sure they've had many over the years.
They have had tons of jingles over the
I'm
years.
trying to think of some other ones.
Man, you know what I really miss?
What?
The commercials from when we were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the McDonald Land commercials were the best.
McDonald Land.
You don't remember McDonald Land?
No.
Like with Ronald McDonald and Hamburglar,
Hamburglar.
and like the Fry people. They were those those fluffy looking
Yeah.
things, and Grimace.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about
You don't
those
remember the
commercials, no.
McDonald Land commercials, especially around Christmas time? Oh, they were the best, man.
McDonald commercials I remember was like Larry Bird and Michael
Oh,
Jordan.
you're talking about like the '80s ones.
doing like the shooting baskets and
You know what the
stuff.
craziest thing is? Like I was reading something, or I was watching something like Michael Jordan's diet when he played in the NBA. That dude was crazy. Like
So straight up like
ate
McDonald's? Oh, yeah?
because he was sponsored by McDonald's, so you would eat McDonald's before games and stuff.
Wow.
That shows you right there that he is the greatest of all
Yeah, I
time,
know.
because he had that working against him. LeBron James can't do nearly what Michael Jordan can do. If he had a belly full of Big Mac,
That's true.
LeBron would be like hurling.
Yeah, I would be.
MJ,
Yeah,
he gave him a fever, and he was out there winning games.
All right. Good job.
Yes, thank you,
the first
Zach.
one, McDonald's.
Thank you.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
All right, next one. Hot Pockets.
That's not a jingle.
3, 2, 1.
Hot pocket.
I think that's it.
That's not a jingle.
I
That's like
don't-
just like a saying, isn't it? Hot pocket.
Is there another one?
Is it hot pocket or hot pockets?
It's Hot Pockets.
Oh, it's with an S.
There's multiple.
Yeah, I learned that about Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah.
It's not Advanced Auto Parts.
Just Advanced.
Advanced Auto Parts.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a
There's
lie.
no D.
It's definitely Advanced Auto Parts.
No, it's 100% Advanced Auto Parts. I looked it up. Like on their website, it's advancedautoparts.com. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
Are they advancing the auto parts industry?
No.
Nope. They're not even the best of the. I'd go to O'Reilly's or AutoZone way before Advanced Auto Parts.
Right.
Anyway, that's my
What's
spiel.
Advanced Auto Parts, Jacob? Do they have one?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Get out of here.
Yeah. All right, you got Hot Pockets. All right, this is a good one. Red Robin.
Oh boy. 3,
2, 1.
Red Robin. Yum. These aren't jingles.
Well, they're the Son. I don't know. They're called Sonic something.
You know what I miss is the Sheely's Christmas. You know Sheely's,
The furniture
the
place.
furniture place over in, like, what is that? It's like Salem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been there.
But they had that Christmas. They had a Christmas commercial, and they had a jingle that went to the Christmas commercial.
I don't remember it.
Every day's a holiday. Every day's a new life. Da-da-da. Sheely's has it all. Sheely's has it all, and then some. You don't remember that?
No.
It was their Christmas commercial, and like legit for me, Christmas didn't start until I saw that Sheely's commercial.
Yeah.
It's not around anymore, I don't think.
No. That was awful.
It was. I mean, I did not do it justice. It probably is an A+ if I didn't sing it. Go ahead, Zach.
My kids would sing the Red Robin song.
Red Robin.
And instead of saying yum, they'd say big juicy. Big juicy yum. Red Robin, big juicy yum.
Is that how it goes?
I don't know if that's how it goes. That's how they sing it.
Dude, listen. Red Robin, overrated.
Really?
Super overrated.
Yeah. They give you lots of fries.
So salty, though. Everything is like, they overkill the salt. Seasoned salt. Yuck.
Too much.
Red Robin.
Yuck.
Hypertension.
All right, ready? Here's one. Klondike. 3, 2, 1.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
It's got the polar bear.
It's got the polar bear, and so you know it's dangerous.
He is very dangerous. What's your favorite Klondike flavor?
Not having one.
Really?
I hate Klondike bars.
Klondike was something that I would have at my grandma's house.
Me? That's so weird.
We had the freezer out in the garage.
Yeah.
Like not a stand-up freezer. It was like a chest freezer.
Yeah.
And you'd have to lift the lid and put half your body down there because you're a kid.
Yeah.
And get the Klondike.
And you fell in.
I might have.
You fell in the freezer and got locked in
that.
there.
No, I wasn't
Because
locked.
Chester threw you in there.
That's where he got his name.
It came full circle finally. Chester did it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, anytime I go to my grandparents, they would have Klondikes. We never had Klondikes at home.
Exactly.
It was only my grandparents.
We
Why?
also have Hot Pockets there, too. Hot Pockets and Klondikes.
We never had Hot Pockets at my grandparents' house.
Yeah. Oh, and Eggo waffles. That was the other thing, too.
You know what my grandpa would make for me? And, like, okay, so maybe I told the story before. Because I love my grandpa. He was the best. But he would make grilled cheese sandwiches out of Velveeta.
Ooh.
No. No, Zach.
You went straight up American.
Blech. Okay, I would gag those sandwiches. That is the love of a grandson to a grandfather.
And he thought he was making the best.
He thought he was making he made it thick. Like he put thick slab of cheese. Oh my gosh, man. I would gag that sandwich down because I love that man so much.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah. But favorite Klondike flavor, I would say the mint chocolate chip.
I am partial to mint,
so
I probably would enjoy that, but I'm just not a Klondike guy.
I'm a Klondike guy.
Nah, man. Just I don't like them.
All right, here's a good one. I can't wait for you to sing this one. Kay Jewelers.
Kay Jewelers has a jingle?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Every kiss begins with K.
That's it.
Spot on.
Yeah. Kay Jewelers.
So when I worked at the mall, Kay Jewelers was right across the corridor from my store. I worked at FYE. Kay Jewelers was right across. And so
you would sing that every time you walked
No,
past.
I would get asked if I wanted to open up a line of credit every time I walked to work from Kay Jewelers. I'm like, no, leave. I'm 16. They were desperate to open up those lines of credit.
Yeah, you look like someone who wanted some jewelry.
The one girl she's like, we gotta meet our quota. Can you guys just put your names down? Like, no. They came over to FYE to ask us if we would just sign up
to get a credit card.
They needed to meet a quota every month.
Oh wow!
Of credit card signups. It was like part of like what they had to do. So that was their quota. Our quota was how many scratch repair kits could we sell.
That was a thing.
Yeah, like when you sold a CD, you like you had to make every effort to upsell a scratch repair kit.
Why? Just to make more money?
Just for FYE to make more money. Like, and this is how I'd say it because I had to say it. Like, even my manager hated it, but he was like, just try. And I was like, you want a scratch repair kit? And I didn't think so. All right, so just check them out.
Did you sell any scratch repair kits?
No, never. Never, because it was a joke. The scratch repair kits are garbage anyway. They don't work.
I don't even know what they are.
For CDs. I mean, okay, we're going back 20 years when I worked at a music store, or at the CD store that I worked at.
Right.
Back when FYE was a CD store.
What is it now?
It's like, they like sell like collectibles and stuff.
Yeah.
They have like they have the smallest movie section. They have some vinyl records, but it's mostly like stupid, like, tchotchkes.
What's tchotchke?
Like collectibles.
You are
Collectibles.
You are teaching me things today.
Okay, a tchotchke is like a collectible.
Okay. Is that,
Like, just like little knick-knacky kind of
is that
things.
Polish?
No, I think it's, I don't know. Is tchotchke a different
I've never
language?
heard of it. I've
Yeah,
never
it's
heard of
just
the word
like, okay, it's
tchotchke.
like, so like a knick-knack.
Okay.
You go in there and you buy, you know,
The thing.
something like, you know, like a pop vinyl.
Okay, yeah.
Like they have a whole wall full of those stupid things.
I saw Kenny Pickett.
I
had
mean,
one of
cool
them.
things. Yeah, I saw the Kenny Pickett one. I was tempted.
All right, next one. Ricola.
Once again, is that a jingle?
I don't know, but it's on the list. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Ricola.
With the big, like, I don't know, Alpine.
The Alpine horn.
Horn.
Yeah, Alpine horn. What do they call it? They're like called like a
yodeler?
flugelhorn?
Have you ever used one?
Yeah. That's I majored in that for a semester. Flugelhorn.
I'm a flugelhorn man.
That's how you get avalanches to come down.
That's exactly right.
Honestly, I think that's what they used them for.
Really?
Was to actually signal, and also I think they were used to cause avalanches.
So you could get them when there was no one around.
Well, yeah, so you could control it a little bit.
If you saw the polar bear
Yeah.
walking past,
So-
eating a Klondike bar.
Yeah.
With a Klondike bar in one hand.
They have their little green
one
hat
paw.
and their lederhosen. That's how polar bears dress over in Germany or Switzerland.
Norway? I don't know.
No, it's not Norway.
I don't know. What is it?
I think it's the
Alps.
Swiss Alps.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
So
don't know my geography.
Switzerland.
All right, this one. Let's
Yo-dee-oo-dee-ho. Yo-dee-oo-dee-ho.
You have a little green hat around here
I
somewhere.
do.
And your lederhosen.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't worn those since pre-COVID. They probably don't fit anymore. I put on a little holiday weight 3 years in a row.
I've been watching too many Sheely's commercials.
Sheely's. Every day's a holiday.
All right,
Sheely's.
here's one. I don't know this one. Lucky Charms. Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Catch me, Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
You did it. That was good. Leprechaun.
I don't think so. I also have gunk in my throat still. 3 weeks in a row, man. I can't kick this cough.
All right, I got 2 more.
Oh, boy. Is that it? Really? Just 2 more?
There's a tiebreaker.
Okay.
There's 3 more.
May as well do them all.
Yeah, we'll do them all.
Why not?
Chia Pet. Did you have a Chia Pet?
I never had a Chia Pet. Did you?
No.
I
Those
never
things
knew.
were scary.
Did anybody actually own one of those things?
No.
Sarah, did you own a Chia Pet? There it is. What kind did you have? She says some kind of little animal. She doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Probably a sheep.
They would have like
Oh, a hedgehog would make sense too.
people ones.
People.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird though?
Yeah, I wouldn't like want somebody's face growing Chia Pet hair.
I remember seeing. So this is truth. The original. So I don't know if you ever heard of Good Mythical Morning. It's Rhett and Link's.
No.
So
Good
Rhett and
Mystical
Link.
Morning?
Rhett and Link. They're prominent YouTubers. And they used to have so it's called they have a show that's been going on for the past 12 years called Good Mythical Morning, but its original name was Good Morning Chia Lincoln, and in the center of the table was a Chia Pet Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
That was just the hair was growing on, or
Nice.
the chia seeds were growing on it.
Nice.
Chia.
That's the jingle.
That's the
right
jingle.
There. Chia.
Chia.
Do you remember those commercials?
They're
when we were a
dumb.
kid?
Chia. Yeah, that's it.
Like, who thought of making that? You know, like that's
the chia seed organization, before they were like, oh, people put this in their drink for an alternative caffeine.
Before that, we just wanted to grow them.
We just grew them
Yeah.
and ate them.
All right, this is an easy one. Ready?
No.
Nationwide Insurance.
Oh, goodness. Nationwide is on your side.
Yeah, that's a dumb one.
Is that Peyton Manning?
He does one. Yeah, he's from Nationwide.
He's Nationwide. He's not State Farm. State Farm's Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yes.
And frog voice.
Yeah, Patrick
I'm
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. I just lost to the Detroit Lions. Oh, man. Andy Reid's going to be mad. Oh, boy. Lost a big game. Not how you want to kick off the season. Yeah, he's right. We don't want to kick the season off this way.
You're doing very well.
Patrick Mahomes, man, I'm not a fan.
Not really. But anyway, we got one more.
One more
in our thing here. All right, let's see if you can get this one. This is a tough one.
Go ahead.
Chili's.
Chili's. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my Chili's baby back ribs. Chili's baby back ribs. Barbecue sauce.
That's it.
Do you know how I remember that?
How?
It's The Office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an episode. It's the second season. It's like the episode where Michael and Jan take like this guy out for like a sales thing at Chili's.
And they sing it the whole time?
And no, Michael sings it the one time. The dude gets into it, and Jan, like, you have to understand the context of the show. It's hilarious, but
Nice.
anyway,
That was it.
That's it. That's how I remembered.
Yeah.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I don't think they don't use that anymore as their jingle.
Are they even around anymore? Do they even
Chili's,
exist?
yeah, man.
Really?
There's Chili's right out in Boardman.
Really?
Yeah, it's right by that BJ's, like brew, like tap,
Like by the mall?
whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah, it's like a grill slash. I don't know what it is. It's not great.
Chili's baby back ribs.
Chili's baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
Is that the last one?
That's it.
That was the tiebreaker?
That was a tiebreaker. Was Chili's.
Oh, that's a bummer.
These are so easy because they're like ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, it is ingrained in your brain.
Yeah.
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 We should
That's
get Petey to do the Liberty Mutual one.
You think you can come in here and do it for
Yeah, I
us?
think so. Hey, Pete. Pete. Come here, buddy.
He's got his attention. He turned
Petey,
around.
come here.
He just said no. It's like my grandfather.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't play games.
2-year-olds and 97-year-olds respond exactly the same to our request. He I was saying to Zach, I think it was before the podcast. We were at Sarah. Where were we at?
By the way, Sarah and Pete are here today.
Sarah and Pete are in the studio, and Pete sang the Liberty Mutual theme song to who? And we were sitting down at the table, and he just went, Liberty, 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 Liberty. And they were like, what? Oh, I think it was Andrew and Bethany's house. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? And we're like, I don't know. That's just kind of what he does now.
Yep.
It's a weird episode.
It is a weird.
We've never had a live audience.
No. It's throwing us off a
Yeah,
little bit.
it did. I really wanted to get him in here and have him sing it.
They didn't want to do that.
No, he said no. Literally like your grandfather.
Yeah.
So there is some truth. Like, we start and end.
Same mentality.
Yeah, same mentality. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Just super honest. And then there's the years of gray.
Try to please everybody.
Trying to be people
No, you just
pleasers,
don't
and then
care.
we hit that phase again where it's like, I'm going to go back to not people pleasing. All right,
Anyway.
Zach, that's the front half of the podcast.
That was good.
It was different. And when we come back,
Something else.
more. See ya. And we're back. I don't know why I did my Wolfman.
Wolfman?
My Wolfman. And we're back.
Who's the Wolfman?
I have no idea. I think it was like something on The Simpsons.
That's like your Macho Man.
No, that's ooh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Do you have a
Wait,
Macho
is that
Man?
Hulk Hogan?
Do you have a Macho Man tattoo?
I don't have a Macho Man.
Okay, I just thought maybe you
Should
might.
I?
I think
Macho Man.
you're still on that last segment.
Oh, the
saying.
jingles.
Did Macho Man have a jingle? The Kool-Aid Man did.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
That's right. That's it. Yeah.
He also said, "Bone saw's ready." Remember that?
I do.
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
But his main phrase was, "Ooh yeah."
That's right.
I liked Macho Man.
What? I have a question. What would your phrase be? Like if there was a jingle of Steve.
Oh, not again.
What's a Steve jingle?
I just did it. Oh, not again. That's it.
We should think of people and do jingles for them.
That's a great idea. Come up with jingles on the fly.
Yeah, maybe not.
Here,
We'd have to edit
do
this
Zach's.
whole podcast.
What's Zach's jingle?
What's my jingle?
Every day is sunshine. Every day is roses. Chasing butterflies.
That's not it.
It's your theme song.
That's not my theme song. Ridiculous.
Steve's is, it's dark. It's basically, you remember the Lego in the Lego movie, Batman's like song that he turns on for them in the, it's like darkness. No parents. It's just like how miserable his life was. That's me.
that's you.
That would be my theme song.
Not anymore.
No,
Now-
honestly, I've
Now you're chasing waterfalls.
yes, yeah. If I had a theme song, like I always thought it was interesting. You weren't a big pro wrestling fan, were you?
No.
We were talking about Macho Man here a little bit ago.
No, I was
Is that on the podcast?
I think so.
Okay, I can't remember when we hit record. But every wrestler has a theme song.
Yeah.
Like, what would your theme song be?
Right. What would my theme
Yeah,
song be?
like if you could pick any song that would be your theme song, that you would just come out and it'd be like it'd just represent who you are and it'd pump up the crowd. What would your song be?
Well, I have thought about this before.
I'm sure you
No.
at length.
not in the pro wrestling idea, but
Okay.
I thought about it when I was a pitcher.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
pitcher would come out like
Oh
the
yeah,
closer
they always
would come
have
out to the music. Yeah,
because who was it? Like I liked was it Hanrahan for the
yeah.
Pirates? He had he was terrible, but he had a really good pump up song.
Well, the new Pirates closer, David Bednar, he comes out to Renegade, like the Steelers song.
That shouldn't even be allowed.
Well, he's from Pittsburgh.
That should be illegal. Oh, he's from Pittsburgh?
He's from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a
Okay.
big Steelers fan. So
If he was if he wasn't from Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and he was just like, I want Renegade.
Yeah.
No way. No way. Honestly, I would have vetted him pretty heavily before I would have said yes to Renegade no matter what. That song is untouchable.
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, mama. I'm in fear
That's
for my
a weird
life.
song. The jig is up, the news is out, they finally found you. It's like, that's what you want. That's your pump up music?
Yeah, no.
What would be your song?
It Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. The end part.
I don't know how that goes.
Just there's kind of like a synthy music, and then there's like a yell. I can't play it. I can't sing.
Yeah.
And then it goes, meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
At the end. That's
I know what mine would be.
What's your
Hit me, baby, one more time.
when you're a pro wrestler?
I must confess. Yeah, that'd be me.
Hit me one more time.
Give me a sign. What a terrible song.
Yeah.
But
That's funny, though.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
thought this was supposed to be the edifying portion of our podcast.
We're getting there. We're 4 minutes. We're only 4 minutes in.
Okay.
I promise you we got something good.
Yeah, we do.
Hopefully this isn't giving you anxiety.
Yes, because that's what we're going to be talking about today, Stevie.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a good lead-in. If this was a radio, we
was
called
not
out a
a great
radio
lead-in.
tease. It was like a way of moving on to the next
moving
next
on.
topic.
No, so the past couple of weeks with the teens, we've been talking about dealing with anxiety because it's the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
And I think it's, man, we've talked about this several times, but there was something I was reading that really gave me fresh perspective on dealing with anxiety and what anxiety really says about us as individuals. And I first want to say that in some of the things that I'm about to say, I don't want anybody to think that they're being judged at all. I just think it's a healthy reminder when it comes to our anxiety of what it's really saying about where our minds are and where our hearts are when we start to worry about things. And I've said countless times before, but I hope my prayer is always that this is a help to other people and helping other people realize. Because one of the things that was said to me the past couple Sundays by different students was like, that idea that I thought I was alone in this, and that's a universal truth. Like people, when they're dealing with anxiety, when they're dealing with hopelessness, when they're dealing with the struggles of just getting through every single day, they feel like, and this is the enemy's tactic, to make you feel isolated and alone. You're the only one going through this. Nobody's going to understand. Nobody cares. You have to figure this out. You're by yourself. That's what the enemy wants you to do. Why? Because it separates you completely from the graciousness of God. And the love of God and the peace of God, and we've probably talked about this on the podcast before. When we are struggling with these things, we tend to, like I said, turn into ourselves rather than turn outward. Going to the Word of God, getting to church, plugging in with a community of people that care about us, talking with friends, talking with loved ones that are going to share what's necessary. Sometimes it's like tough love. Sometimes it's just the refreshing, like kind of love that like we need to receive. But one way or the other, we typically keep ourselves from that because of fear of rejection. But that's what the enemy wants you to feel. And the beginning of the school year, I think, is the time of highest anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember going back to school? Were you anxious going back to school?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Every year?
It's just the unknown.
Yeah.
What are classes going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to have my friends in my classes?
Mm-hmm.
I always would have the nightmares going back to school, especially in
still do.
college. Especially in college.
Yeah.
That I would forget about a class.
Yep.
So whether your class is Tuesday or Thursday or whatever,
Yeah.
and you just completely forget about it, and you're halfway through the semester, and you're like, "Oh no, I should have been going to this class."
Yeah.
Have you
I
ever-
still have those nightmares, Zach. Do you still have those nightmares?
Not so much anymore, but I did after school for a long time.
I have them. I just had one like last week
Really?
where I was like, yeah, I got through an entire semester. And I was like, I haven't gone to this math class all semester.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to take this test?
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm trying to get into, I remember like in the dream, it was like a lucid dream. Like you're aware that you're dreaming, but also, and like you can control some of it, but at the same time, it's like the fear is there.
Yeah.
I remember trying to get into like the, my what's it called, office. Cause I was
Your
trying,
advisor or the
my advisor,
teacher?
so I could drop the class.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't want to fail. Cause I knew I haven't taken one test in this entire class. Like, how am I going to pass?
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I'm like, oh, I'm 38.
Yes.
This is long over.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 children that are like, I need breakfast.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, that's part of my life. I'm so glad that part of my life is way in my past.
Yeah.
But yeah, anxiety is just so, especially at the beginning of the year when there's so many unknowns. It runs rampant, and then sometimes we even forget like what we've been brought through in the past. And I think that's another sad reality is that we typically forget that the past struggles that we've had, we made it through. Mm-hmm. Were we unscathed? Not necessarily,
right.
But they did come to an end.
Yeah.
At some point. And so we got to remember that, like, yeah, if I trust God with these things and ask Him to lead me in joy through these things, mm-hmm. then I will be made better, and I'll be able to handle these things, in a better way every single time. Like it gets to the point where it's not that it won't be difficult, but it will be better. Like we'll understand how to handle things better. So yeah, I hated starting off the new school year, and that was the thing. That so I was asking the students, I'm like, so what makes you worry the most? Course load was the biggest thing.
Okay.
It was like I don't know what to expect because they get their syllabus and it's like they get this like it's like oh paper due. That's what I was always freaked out about. I hated writing papers in high school. College, it was fine. Like after I got through high school, like papers were like second nature. Yeah. High school, it was terrible. Yeah. Remember when like a 2-page paper felt like an eternity?
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that way?
Oh yeah.
Because my son, it was really funny. Luke was saying to me, he's like, Dad, I got to do a 6-paragraph paper. I'm like, 6 paragraphs? I'm like, you want to do that right now? Like, you want to get that done?
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. But I remember like being young And that being the thing that stressed me out.
Yeah.
The other things that kids were worrying about were their friends situations. We have like a lot of students here that are brand new to the schools that they're going to. They're brand new to the area.
Yeah.
It's all fresh. It's all new. And it's like, okay, what am I going to expect to see from people, or am I going to be entering back into situations that are hard? That I got to leave back in May, but now it's September and I got to start all over again with these same people that I haven't wanted to see in 4 months. Mm-hmm. So what does our anxiety say about us, and what can we do to better our anxiety? Well, 4 things. The first thing is this, Zach. Principle number 1, it says here, says, my anxiety reveals what I value. So what comes to your mind, like, when you hear that statement, Zach?
I think that if you value things that don't last, things that are temporary, things of, things that you're comparing with other people, those type of things, that you become anxious because you will never have something that's good enough.
Exactly. You won't have something that's lasting. I mean, and so here in these notes, it says, the person that put this together was talking from Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 24. And then this is talking about Jesus is telling his disciples that, you've seen God give to much lesser things. What makes you think that he won't give abundantly to you?
Yeah.
And he ends with, you can't serve 2 masters. You can either serve money, or he used money as the thing, which I think ends up becoming one of the masters that we end up serving because we value it the most. Why? Because money gets us everything.
Sure.
If we want, food, clothes, house, car, vacations,
sure,
status, power, it all typically revolves around the amount of money, because money equals influence and equals power, right?
Right.
And so Jesus talks about that because that was a problem 2,000 years ago, as it is a problem to this very day. But what's the problem with that? Money is fleeting. Okay.
Sure.
But for teenagers specifically, money's usually not the worry, because they're still living at home. Maybe it is the worry. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that there's kids that are struggling with mom and dad, maybe aren't together anymore, or mom or dad lost their job, and they're just barely getting by in some way. So money does become this thing that's like high value, and it stresses us out. But there's other things, like some people put this level of value on their grades, because it's like, if I don't get these grades, I won't get into this college, and if I don't get into this college, I won't get into this program, and then I won't get into this program, and then I won't get into the profession that I've always dreamed of. And we value these grades, and we stress out about these grades, and they become our master.
Yeah.
It's like, I serve my GPA. Right? Like, I need to get this, like, 4.0 isn't even good enough anymore, right? Like, I need to get a 4.5 or a 4.8, like, whatever. I don't even understand the grading system, how it goes beyond 4. I was just happy to get 2, right? Like 2 point whatever when I was in high school was, I'm getting by. But like, that becomes the master that we serve, or our master becomes our relationships, and it's the people that we surround ourselves with, because they give us status and they give us the value that we so desire. Because if I have these friends and I have this group, then I am important. And the reality is that's fleeting too. But we worry about all these things, and ultimately, does it get us anywhere?
No,
it doesn't. And that was Jesus' whole point. You could spend your whole life valuing the wrong things, and all it's going to do is lead you to misery.
Yeah.
Reflect on what actually is good.
Right.
That is what God provides for us. And the thing is, some people will say, well, like, when it comes to money, it's like, well, if I don't have money and I don't have food, then like, what really, like, is the God really providing? Well, God's always providing options. I mean, you look at like our food pantry, for example, which we've talked about in the past several times. But that's one way God's kingdom is providing for other people. There's always something. Is it always going to be what we want? No. But are our needs going to be provided for? God's always making a way to the hearts and lives of others. And that's the beauty. Like, that's why we have to, like, okay, what am I really valuing in this life? I've had to, like, money is definitely something that I've served. Not because I've worried about not, like, being able to provide. It's because I always want more. Materialism has became my God in a lot of ways. And I feel like I've been set free from that in a lot of ways. There's still, like, that temptation, especially when I'm feeling down. Like, if I just buy something, I'll feel a little bit better about myself. And it'll ease my worries.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. And it never will. I mean, I've talked for a long time. I'm sorry, Zach.
No,
I feel like I'm like I'm shanghaiing this whole like conversation.
No, I don't have really anything to add at this point.
Okay.
I have a couple things I want to add later on. When
Okay.
different topics.
Very
but
good.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue on
then.
then. I mean, because so we talked about the things that we value, and even when it comes to grades, and I was telling this to the students, like, just because, and this sounds awful, but just because we have a dream doesn't mean it's God's dream for you.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because but it's the truth. Just because there's something that we desperately want for our lives does not mean it's what God knows is best for your life.
Right.
So, like, clinging to your grades and wanting to, like, succeed, and it's causing you all this stress and all this hurt and all this brokenness and all this worry. Is that what life is supposed to be about? No. I mean, sometimes we have to push through hard stuff. Sometimes we do have to challenge ourselves. But if it becomes if we become enslaved to the master that is success, we will never achieve it. Because there's always going to be that next step and that next level.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be enough for me to just have this degree. I have to have the next one, and then I have to have the next one so I can be recognized the way that I want to be recognized. It's not going to be worth it.
Right.
I'm not saying don't do your best. You should do everything with excellence. Like, we should do our best in everything. But excellence is not perfection. And the one thing that will cause us more anxiety than anything is the pursuit of perfection. It is an impossible endeavor, and you have to stop it when you realize that, like, oh my goodness, I didn't get all the answers right. That's okay. Like, getting a B is not the end of the world. You might, and I'm sure there's people out there that are completely like shuddering hearing that. I mean, that wasn't for me. Getting a B was like a major success in high school. It was like A's were like celebrated. Let's go to dinner for me. For like, now it's at home. Sarah's like, you guys weren't like expected to get like good grades. It's like, well, I guess not. A's were common in Sarah's house. In my house, it was like, Steve, you got an A? Outback Steakhouse tonight. How's that? It's like huge. Like, I never had that worry, but I see a lot of students that do have that worry, and the amount of pressure that they put on themselves. I'm telling you today, like, it's not worth it. Like, seek first the kingdom. Like, what does God want me to do with my life? And like, do the things that and then figure out what can coincide with that will actually bring me true joy.
Yeah. And it's a good thing to understand that now and get that idea now. I was one of those people that definitely was after the A's, right?
Yeah.
And was obsessed with it as well. And I was going to talk about this a little bit later when we were talking about trusting. But I think a lot of that came from not trusting that God had what was best for me and trying to do it on my own.
Yep.
And that's where all the anxiety comes from. When you go into a test thinking, it's just me, I got to do this. And I mean, yes, in the fact that you need to put the time in, the work to study, to prep yourself. You can't just go into a test, like, God's got this, woohoo! And then you fail because you didn't put any time and effort into it. But what really helped me to ease my anxiety when we're talking about tests, and I was going to talk about this, like I said, in a little bit, but
this could be the nice little segue into what we're going to talk about next.
It was the trusting God to take care of it for me. And the reality that hit me was, if God wants me to do this job, do you think a silly little test is going to keep me from doing what God has for my life? And it was that realization that helped me. Okay, if God wants me to go and get a biology degree, right? Why would a certain test in biology keep me from doing what God's got for me in my life? So it came to that point of saying, all right, I am going to study. I'm going to put my work in, my time in studying, understand things. And then I'm going to go to the test. And I started doing this when I was in college. Before each test, I'd pray and say, all right, God, this is where you have me. I want I put the time in, help me to remember what I studied because I'm in this with you. And it was taking the trust, out of my ability to doing it and putting it in God's lap and saying, you've been walking with me through this. Help me to now succeed for your glory.
Yeah.
And it was that really helped me to lose that anxiety.
That's good.
And I got great grades in high school, and I was trying to replicate that in college, and I was just stressing myself out, and I wasn't getting as good grades. And so
that's destroying you.
Yeah. So then I came to a point where I made this realization, gave it over to God. I got the same grades that I was getting, which were good enough. They weren't the A's I got in high school, but they were the B's-ish, A's-ish that I was getting in college, right? But it was still the same. I was still getting the same B's and A's, but I had less anxiety and more trust, realizing at that point that, okay, God's got this,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what, I got even good grades to even better than when I started giving that over to God.
And what you're talking about is is the whole point here is my anxiety shows the level of trust that I have in God.
Yeah.
Trusting God should decrease our anxiety drastically, if not remove it wholly and completely. And that's not to say, like you were saying, you had to put the work in.
Right.
That was okay, now whatever happens, I know I put the time in. Now I'm just going to trust God to help give me peace and provide. And that's really what it is. Once again, talking about the idea that God's not the magic genie that I wanted him to be when I was in high school and college. Was I didn't study, but God helped me remember everything. Well, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'll give you peace as you guess through everything. Right? But I'm not going to. It's not like he's just going to plant the answers in your head.
Right.
Here you go. Look at the Christian boy. He's getting all the ones correct. That's not how God works.
Right.
God works in our hearts and our minds and giving us peace, not resolving things for us. If he just resolved everything for us, there'd be really no need for us to exist in the first place.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, you're right. Do I trust that God really has me?
Right.
And is going to see me through all things. Because really, the next two principles, like we said before, where my anxiety reflects my view of God and my trust, it goes into the same idea. Is how do I view God, and what do I expect of God, and do I trust Him to do as His word tells us? But that's the whole thing. Do we have a proper view of who God is and what He provides?
Right.
And that's the thing, we were just talking about. Does God provide? Could God provide miracles? Absolutely.
Right.
For certain. But what are miracles performed for? To showcase God's glory and lead other people to Him, not for us in our glory, in our own privacy, in our own glory, right? That's not the point of a miracle. The miraculous is done to reach hearts and minds of people. God chooses at times to do the miraculous. Sometimes He just shows us how He loves us in the peace that He provides and the care that He provides and the encouragement and strength that He gives us. So I think that's really the big thing here is what do I actually valuing here when it comes to my faith and who I am as a believer, and do I actually trust God to do everything that He says He will? And that is to provide what's necessary for us to function at the level that we need to function at. I could say honestly, I've failed at this a lot, because it's I go into situations and circumstances thinking that I can handle it and that I'll save. And we were talking about this with the students. It's I'll save the big stuff for God, but the little stuff I'll just take care of. And that's, God wants to be in it all. And once again, it shows your trust level and your view of God. He just takes care of the big stuff. No, he wants to be in every aspect of your life. So allow Him. And that will, once again, it will minimize anxiety when you see that, hey, God's in this with me every step of the way. Is He going to do the work for me? No. He wants you to do it so you can become stronger. But you got to push yourself through it. So it is a balance. But do I trust God? That it has to be your big question.
Right.
And the funny thing is, like, I asked that question to the students, and I think almost out of obligation, I'm like, do you guys trust God?
Oh, of course.
And everybody raises their hand. And I'm sure if you asked a congregation of 1,000,
Yeah.
yeah, did you guys trust God?
Of course.
Yes, yeah. All right. Then your circumstances dealing with the difficulty, don't worry about it. What?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about what you're going to eat this week. Don't worry about, all those things. God's got you. Trust him. Oh, no, but I have to do something about that. Like, I have to worry about that. That's important. Well, yeah, God knows it's important.
Right.
Trust him. God will find ways to provide for you. So that's the big thing. But the final thing is this, Zach. So, like, are we trusting God? Are we really seeing God as he is? And if we want to decrease our anxiety, it's best redirected by compassionately serving other people. And this is what I was saying to the students, you have to let go of yourself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the constant worry and the constant fretting about everything.
Just putting yourself in the middle of your life.
Yeah, it goes beyond what we were talking about, the master that we serve. The master that we serve being what we value, whether it's money, status, popularity, materialism, all those things. But the truth is, there's even something that goes beyond all that, and it's the self. Mm-hmm. It's I value me the most. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we become our own God. Well, then it's just like, it's a vicious cycle.
Right.
Because we're always going to end up having the exact same results over and over and over again.
Right.
Because, like, okay, I want to be here, so I have to do these things. Oh, wait, I'm failing. It's like, well, why do I keep failing? Because you're only worried about yourself.
That's the human condition.
It is the human condition. I'm not looking outwardly at all. I'm not trusting God. I'm not trusting other people. I trust me and me alone. Mm-hmm. Well, the people that don't trust others and like don't put their faith in God and put faith in humanity, which can be very difficult because people will fail you. Mm-hmm. But there are good people. There's God people out there that like trust God and following God. When we can surround ourselves with those kinds of people, I'm not saying that you put your faith and hope in those people, but you surround yourself with those people. You put your hope and faith in God. Things will get good, but that means serving other people. If you're going to be part of community, right, you have to bring something to the table. The whole idea of communing, like with people, having communication with other people, having breaking bread together, like which is what we talk about communion. The whole idea of communion is that we're united together doing that,
right, in
community,
right, with
each other. It's not this is me by myself. And that's one of the biggest problems I think that we're seeing in the church today. This is not a judgment of how churches do this, because I think it's an important thing. But we've seen the rise of people staying at home, practicing their faith on their own time and on their own terms. Right? It's like, I could do this for me. Like, I'm gonna watch a message on Sunday morning and I'm gonna go about my life, and that's my version of church now. That's not community. That's self-serving. There's time and a place for it, absolutely. When there is sickness that can be had, or like you are susceptible to some level of sickness and you have to stay home, stay home. Like, please don't bring your illness here. And if there's illness going around that you can't get, do stay home. Protect yourself. Keep yourself safe. God would want that for you. Like, when people had that whole mentality of God won't let me get sick if I go around other people. Remember that was like the mentality for a little bit? Like, no. Like, these are communicable diseases. The whole idea of community, once again, can be a detriment. But we have to be wise. When do I come around people? When don't I come around people? But the idea of serving one another is essential to the life of the Christian.
Yeah.
If we are calling ourselves brothers and sisters in Christ, we're not separating ourselves completely from the family of believers. We have to be with one another, and serving each other helps us realize that my problems pale in comparison a lot of times to other people's. Is there going to be somebody that has the most ultimate terrible thing? Yeah, it's probably for a season of their life, And then maybe it will be you that has like are at the lowest point possible. But the matter is, like, I'm together. I have people that I can trust, and they trust me, and we're doing this together with Jesus Christ at the center of it all. That's how we compassionately can serve one another, and also it will reduce the anxiety that we're feeling because I'm not worried about me. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about you. Mm-hmm. And the hope is because I care about you. You will in turn care about me.
Right.
Now you can't go into things thinking that's the important caveat.
It's not a quid quo pro.
Thank you for the Latin. Quid pro quo.
Whatever it is.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I give, you give. Like
Yes.
You have to go into I think the Christian life is best lived with the mentality is I'm going to do my best to serve, which can be exhausting, without the thought of ever getting any kind of repayment.
Right.
Because that's how God works with us. Even
Right.
with, you look ultimately at the example of like the forgiveness of sin, the forgiveness of our sin debt, where he says, you're already forgiven.
Right.
Like we have to think that same way when it comes to everything else. Is like, all right, God doesn't expect me it does expect me to do the same for other people. I forgive, I love, I respect, without the thought of getting anything in return. Because there's nothing we could ultimately return to God, right? Like the only thing we can give him is our faith and adoration. Right. Everything else, like is worthless to him, and it should be kind of the same mentality. I give without the idea that I will receive, but within a community, people should see the needs of other people and provide for other people.
Right.
So it should be cyclical in that manner. Like, I take care of you, you take care of me, but we can't have that expectation. Otherwise, we will be disappointed.
Right.
And how many times have we seen in the history of the church where people are like, well, I do everything and nobody gives back to me. Well,
right.
Okay, then you already got the wrong mentality about this. You have to come into it with the idea, like, I might not ever get anything in return, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that makes, like, when we do get something in return, even better.
Sure. Yeah, no. It's Jesus came and taught us these kingdom principles.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, right? Trusting God. Turning upside down what the culture says is important and understanding what God says is important.
Yeah.
And when you live by these kingdom principles, it's not like a guide, a guardrail to keep you in the straight and narrow. It's like it's taking away the guardrails in your life so you have freedom in trusting God and living in these ways. But like we said a little bit ago, it all comes back to our human condition. It was this way in the garden. The reason why we got thrown out of the garden was we wanted to be God, right? We had one job, one role. Don't eat from this tree that makes you like God. And what the devil comes and whispers in our ear, guess what? You can be like God, right?
Yeah.
Eat from this tree. We got kicked out. And we've been doing the same thing ever since. We've been putting ourselves in the place of God. And when we do that, all of these bad things come from it.
Sure.
That's where this anxiety comes from, because we've taken our trust from living God's way and putting it on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's just a burden that we weren't created to bear.
Exactly.
And so when we understand, this is what Jesus came and he taught, this is what we're talking about in junior high. So I'm kind of relating it to this. We've been talking about the kingdom of God and what that looks like and what our responsibility is as followers of Jesus, right?
Yep.
And, we have this idea of a kingdom. Oh, there's a castle and all these things. No, it's talking about the, it's talking about
how you said that was hilarious. I'm sorry.
It's talking about the rule of God and how we are to, be the little, the Christians means little Christs, right? We are to be the representation of God here on earth, living the way that Jesus taught us to. Why? Not to bum people out so they have a bunch of rules. No, but to set them free from this mentality that we have that we are the center of our life. And to see what happens when you don't live that way. And it's the service. It's the loss of anxiety then. It's the joy that comes from doing what you've been made to do, not what you think you want to do.
Exactly.
And so it's just, anxiety is one of those byproducts of living for ourselves. And whenever we understand that, I mean, it's not easy to not do it. Everybody We don't go around. We're wired that way. Even when we were in the garden in perfection and God was there, we were still wired that way in some way to want to put ourselves first. I mean, that's just the way we are as people, but we have to fight against that.
Exactly.
And try to live in these ways that Jesus taught us to do, so we can live a life that's free of this anxiety, that the burden isn't there of trying to do it all on our own.
Yeah.
It's just coming back to a place where, okay, God, you really are the center of my life.
Yeah.
And the trust that comes with that, and just the freedom from these problems, these anxieties, these addictions, the things that we have that we're feeding ourselves instead of, putting God first and doing the things that he has for us.
Exactly. No, very well put. And I hope this is eye-opening for a lot of people, because anxiety does really reveal our heart condition. And I could say firsthand that I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure a lot of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we could say, like, do I actually trust God the way that I would tell other people in public? Probably not. Yeah. And I want to be better. And so these are the things that you could do. Like, do a self-assessment. Look at yourself. Say to yourself, what do I value? Do I really trust? And am I doing enough for others so that I can minimize the amount of tension that I put on myself? And when you answer those, like, honestly, and then start making moves to change those, you will see results and you will change. Because, I mean, it's a guaranteed change, because it's a mentality shift from, being self-driven and only being driven for my own wants and desires to desiring to look outwardly, upwardly, and, vertically and horizontally, if you want to look at it that way. But inwardly gets us nowhere. So we hope this has been a blessing to you. We're glad to be with you again in our podcast capacity. So until next time, Zach, do you have any what last words of wisdom that you want to leave?
For Zach and Steve have a podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Steve.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Bye.
My brother is going to prison.